My 26 girlfriend, 24, wants me to go on a vacation with her, but I don't want to spend that kind of money. Should I go? So me and my GF have been dating for a year and a half now. In just under a year from now, she and her family plan to go on a vacation and she wants me to come. I would honestly love to go, but there are a few issues. I live alone in my own place and make just enough to keep my head above water. I am very frugal and like to save money. I save it for retirement as well as investing so I can make more money to keep myself afloat. I certainly have the funds, but I am not the type to blow it all on a vacation. I prefer to spend extra money on nice dinners occasionally or a movie out. The little things. It costs around $2,000 for just me alone to go. I'm also introverted and I'm not a big fan of crowds or loud noises. My GF doesn't like to save money but plans to do so for the trip. She believes in the idea of if you got money you should spend it because YOLO and money for memories is important to her. She lives with her family and is able to save up money for the vacation. She also keeps trying to convince me and wants me to just use up what she calls a tiny portion of my hard-earned savings to go with her. She and her family are travelers. They love traveling and going places. I am not. I love this girl and I'd love to go. But I'm forced to recognize we have different values and goals in life, and I'm not starting to wonder if we are truly right for each other. I think I should go both because I'd like to and it would be good for our relationship, but I'm worried what might happen between then and now, such as us breaking up. Any advice would be helpful. Edit. I forgot to mention the main reason I'm concerned is that I have to pay the amount in advance. Like within the next week. Which is what has me concerned in case we break up or knows what happens between now and the nearly a year later to then. TLDR. I don't know if I want to go on vaca with my GF because it is expensive and I am having doubts.
Looking long term, she's going to ask you to go on more vacations. I think you need to sit down and talk about the actual issue. This vacation is a drop in the bucket when it comes to the rest of your relationship.
If you are very frugal and like to save money, and your girlfriend is not, I think this will cause problems in the future. Having compatible views on money is extremely important for a long-term relationship. She might end up resenting you for being stingy, and you might end up resenting her for being irresponsible.
You say you'd love to go, but would you actually? You're talking out of both sides of your mouth here by saying, I prefer to spend money on dinner, movies rather than blowing it on a vacation, and she and her family love traveling, going places. I do not, then in the next sentence saying you'd love to go. The math doesn't many ways to look at this. There has to be middle ground between YOLO-ing, with money, and save, invest every dollar for retirement. The trip isn't for another year and, assuming you two stay together, is there no way to dial back the investing a little each month in order to afford it? If you truly can't swing it monetarily, everyone's situation is different, then that's perfectly reasonable to say you could potentially afford it but choose not to spend the money and or simply don't enjoy traveling. Then I think you and your girlfriend need to have an entirely different discussion about life goals, and how you both wish to spend is very important, but it's also less important than making your partner happy. Think of it this way, you can spend that money now while you're young, or spend it when you're 60 to 65. There's no wrong in investment in the relationship, too. From my experience, it's worth the price of admission, within certain limits, just to visit a cool place with the person you love for the sole purpose of having as much fun as luck.
I'm gonna tell you this now as someone who is an absolute miser. This attitude isn't healthy. Experiences like a vacation aren't a waste as long as your ability to pay your bills is not in jeopardy. You're gonna run into this problem with a lot of women unless they're of the same mindset as you or just homebodies who don't like to ever travel. Saving for the sake of saving is not going to make you happy. You're just gonna look back and regret all the missed experiences.
Girlfriend of 1.5 years. Vacation planned isn't for another year, is this correct? No. I would advise you to not go on vacation. I agree with you, it's too far out. You don't know what will happen in your relationship by then. I appreciate your dedication to saving, but you also need to live a little. Don't lose sight of enjoying your life some. Also, on occasion go travel over weekends. A bed and breakfast and explore with your girlfriend. Live a bit.
Greater than I would honestly love to go. Greater than I'm also introverted and I'm not a big fan of crowds or loud, and her family are travelers. They love traveling and going places. I am sound like you would honestly love to live alone in my own place and make just enough to keep my head above. Certainly have these it. These are two very different and contradictory. Love this girl and I'd love to. Really doesn't sound like I'm forced to recognize we have different values and goals in life, and I'm not starting to wonder if we are truly right for each other. I think I should go both because I'd like to and it would be good for our relationship, but I'm worried what might happen between then and now, such as this breaking. Another case of contradicting yourself. Just one sentence. You're doubting the relationship this much after a year and a half. Then no, you shouldn't pay $2,000 for a trip that's a year out. It sounds like you need to sit down with her and have a serious discussion about the relationship, because it seems like you're two very different people who value travel, a significant and expensive thing, completely differently. It's great to save money, but it's also great to have unique and interesting experiences, and you're still very young with plenty of time to save more. All the drastic contradictory statements you made here. It would also probably be a good idea to get to know yourself better.
I saved my money my whole life, never went on vacation, always bought used cars, thrifted every chance I could. I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd traveled more. What an old lady in a nursing home told me. Break out and be willing to spend a little. Good financial management is about directing your money wisely, it's not about being stingy. That said, it seems like you and your GF are on different pages about finances. That's fundamental to a relationship in the long term. You also seem to doubt the longevity of the relationship. She invited you along, so she doesn't seem to have the same doubt. You need to work on that or let her go.
My personal view is money is worthless if all it serves is survival and not living. Because what's the point of surviving if you don't even want to live? That being said, this won't be the last time she wants to go on a vacation. And you seem adamant not to. The one hand. Maybe you should go to test the waters on your feelings about travel. Maybe you end up enjoying it and realizing it's worth it. Maybe you spend a measly $2,000 to learn you absolutely don't think traveling is worth it. You'll make that money back and life will go the other hand. Maybe you should put your foot down and say that she's free to travel without you, as you are more than content to stay at home. Let the chips fall where they may. You two have fundamental values that you may be able to live with or may need to go your separate ways over if it starts becoming too hard to deal with later on down the. I think you should take the risk and give it a chance. But you should do what you feel is right.
You really buried the lead. This isn't about the vacation, it's you fundamentally questioning the future of this relationship over shared values. I really hope that you'd been considering that for longer than this vacation has been under discussion. Advice. Spending money is not blowing it when you're making a special memory in a relationship with your partner's family. Take the hits sometimes and live a fuller life. No one is promised a long advice. Talk to her about this. Let her know that you're so serious about going the distance with her that you need to address this now. You have a year to get aligned on this before the vacation even comes.
What's your plan here? To just never go on vacation? You say yourself you'd love to go. You need a break sometimes. If you want to try and make this work, this is something you will both need to compromise on. Also, why do you need to fork over the $2,000 now? Wouldn't just be your flight and food you need to pay for since you can just sleep in your GFS bed?
I agree completely. This is just the beginning. She and her family are travelers and this is what they like to do. There will be many more in the future. Personally, my husband and I don't travel a lot. And when we do, we're frugal. We pay for it and owe no bills after. Truth be told, we opt to save money more than traveling and going off on vacations. Things are getting so expensive these days. We enjoy our stay cat-ions.
Also, a vacation with her family isn't the same as a vacation just with her. I wouldn't want to go with her family necessarily.
This plus not having compatible views on travel is kind of a big one. It really does sound like they are just not compatible. Neither of them are really wrong, but at the same time these are not exactly easy things to compromise. Broke up with someone in my early 20s due to conflicting ideas on the priority that travel should take in our lives, and it was absolutely the right call. We are each happily married to people we are more compatible with now.
Greater than if you are very frugal and like to save money, and your girlfriend is not. I think this will cause problems in the like to live in the moment and have adventures. My wife is frugal and level-headed. We meet in the middle and balance each other out. Would not work though if we didn't both compromise to some extent.
This is pretty much where I'm at in my relationship, and it's causing a rift. I keep compromising on my fiscal values. BC I am a pushover. Don't be like me.
And it's not just being a stickler about paying to go on the vacations, because even if the frugal one were to budge and book the vacation, behaving in the same frugal way while on the trip and being a stick in the mud about paying for entertainment, that's just not fun for anyone or fair.
This 100%. Travel is important to some people and will make it work if possible. A $2,000 trip a year away isn't like YOLO money. Again, we don't know your situation, but it's not excessive spending. But if you don't think travel is important or fun, then it's a compatibility issue. Also, there's got to be a way to meet in the middle.
Greater than I appreciate your dedication to saving, but you also need to live a little. Don't lose sight of enjoying your life. Greater than also, on occasion go travel over weekends. A bed and breakfast and explore with your girlfriend. Live a here. Good advice.
See, I can agree with this. I don't have anything against traveling itself. I've traveled a lot and enjoy it. But I plan something a few months in advance, not a full year. It's too long and it bothers me with the potential for something to go wrong. Especially since I have to pay that far in advance. Still on the fence, but thanks for the input.
He said he doesn't like traveling or crowds.
Greater than this plus not having compatible views on travel is kind of a big one. Yes, there would be nothing sadder than if they stay together and he holds her back from traveling. She will end up resentful of him.
But also at retirement there's no guarantee your body or health will be good enough to even enjoy it. Tons of health and energy concerns are often present in 60-plus-year-olds. Not saying never to save money for retirement, but also I think people can sometimes hoard their money so much they don't really allow themselves to even live.